Everything scares the shit out of me. I'm looking at all of it going, like, there's no good solutions to the Middle East. All of it looks terrible. And the Ukraine thing looks terrible. It just scares the shit out of me because it's just like all it takes is one person to launch a nuke and the world changes forever.
Right.
And I've never felt like that was a possibility in my lifetime until now.
Let's talk about the Joe Rogan effect here, because, you know, a lot of people talk about the Joe Rogan bump that happens after you appear on the Joe Rogan podcast, which I've been patiently waiting 15 years to be on. Since Joe Rogan followed me for 15 years, we DM'd, but I never wanted to ask him to be on because that looks really bad, but he never had me on. He had all my friends on. No bad feelings there at all. No jealousy.
We love you, Joe. We love you.
No jealousy there at all. But you know, a lot of people report always being on the Joe Rogan podcast, a major podcast, a huge podcast, and then receiving a major significant boost that essentially launches their career. What effect is this going to have on Donald Trump? Will this put him over the hump? Will this be able to secure enough votes to make sure that there's no kind of larger finagling when it comes to this year's election? What do you guys think?
I can't wait for it. But honestly, I'm looking more forward to the Kamala interview than I am the Trump interview. Because the Trump interview, I mean, I know what he's going to say. It's like, I do great. I'm fantastic. Like, it's going to be Trump doing the Trump, like, shtick, right? I can't wait for the Kamala one.
I still think, though, that the average person watches the mainstream media and they believe what they're told through the news. So if they see Trump listening in their car on a podcast and he's just talking like, they're like, well, I didn't know this side of him. Because you're very educated. You've broken free of the matrix, okay, Martha? Not everyone has, and I think, you know, to the average person who's undecided or used to be maybe a liberal, or, you know, they see him talking, they're like, whoa, dude, this guy's likable, he's relatable, he's not like just like this contrived puppet reading a teleprompter, you know?
Well, this is the first time, probably in the last 40 to 50 years, maybe since Reagan, where the more people that vote, the more of a chance Trump has at winning. And that's typically not the case for Republicans. It used to be, you know, those folks that are very hardcore following politics, that care about voting. But Trump has really broken the wall on this getting to the blue-collar worker, right? Becoming the party of working-class America. The reason Rogan will be so important is what you just said. So many people don't hear the message, right? We all hear it because we're inundated, we're following it. But a lot of these folks, this will be the first time, and it's not going to be millions and millions, it's the first time, but you'd be surprised how many people.
Are you kidding me? It's going to be millions and millions. Not the first time,
yeah.
I guess.
So like Theo Vaughn, when he did Theo Vaughn's show, I can't tell you how much that probably helped him with young people, right? And Theo's type of kind of this just knack of being this, you know, this folksy guy, but they're not following politics. And so I think the Rogan bump is going to be all of those people that are used to getting one story, one narrative on who Trump is. And so we might see the Trump stuff, but this will be the first time they do.
Amen. Yes.
Mm-hmm. I just think it's going to be huge. I mean, it's like when Trump went on Tucker Carlson. It was just huge. And I think that a whole bunch of people are going to see it, and it's going to be fantastic. But again, it needs to be followed up by the disaster that will be the train wreck of Kamala's.
Yeah. Trump's doing a lot of cool. He was on Nelk Boys. He's on Theo Vaughn. He's on The Undertaker. He's on Joe Rogan. What is Kamala doing? Call your daddy? I mean, what is she doing?
She's went on Brett Baer. Did you not see that one? That was fantastic.
That was a nice interview.
That was great.
For everyone else that finally got to see her being questioned
60
properly.
minutes.
Posobiec just messaged me back. He was like, I was just hitting up the Polish National Shrine in Dolestown. They even have a Polish mass. So Jack Posobiec is already there, trying to reach out to the Polish people out there. And I think there is a big voting groups that are finally kind of understanding that, yeah, we kind of have to do this. And a lot of the times, a lot of people were on the sidelines. So I don't know about you, and I don't know what you're seeing on the ground, Cliff, but I'm expecting record numbers of new voters and voters this year that probably will beat the record of 2020.
Oh, I definitely think this will be the highest attendance when it comes to voter turnout. And what's wild about it is, I'm not going to say I'm going to quit politics if Trump loses, but after watching that Brett Baer interview, if a majority of people actually vote for Harris because they are so brainwashed to hate Trump, I don't really know where you go after that, right? If you lose this election, and look, I'm not a doomsayer that in 2025 the world's going to be over, but the slippery slope of losing what we have left of the republic, I would be so disappointed in the American people. But I think you're going to see record turnouts in every single state, and I think it's the most polarized we've ever been. But I'm interested to see if the Democrats lose, what does their party become? They're losing with black men now. They're losing with Hispanic men. They're definitely losing with white men. They're losing with so many of these demographics. What's the demographic they're gaining with?
Immigrants, people that just got here.
The Latinos.
Excuse me,
the
no,
cat,
not all Latinos.
The cat women, majority of Latinos. The cat women.
The trans community.
White women.
Taylor Swift's fans.
Yeah.
The
Yep.
fighting age
Lizzo's
men.
fans.
Yep.
Everyone else on the P. Diddy extortion tapes. Right?
I mean, Eminem's doing Kamala tonight.
Yeah, the cartels are
Wait,
going to be
Eminem
really
is
happy about
doing
Kamala.
Kamala?
Kamala's doing Kamala, yes.
What?
In Detroit. I don't know if it's if it's
Robbie has a poor choice of words
that
there.
sounded dirty.
Say that again.
AF.
he's performing, or the real version or the clone version, I don't know. He's performing at in Detroit. He came out with a video where he hates Trump, but he doesn't relate to the working class and the people around him. I grew up loving Eminem, but I'm like, dude, he just seems very.
What, you mean all those millions of dollars?
That's
don't
what's wild about Trump, though, because Trump is a billionaire, right? And he's connecting so well with these blue-collar folks. And then you have people like Eminem who really grew up, with a horrible, tough upbringing that should be able to connect. And I think the Democrats, and I'll give alternative media, I'll give Luke a shout out, but all these different programs where people just get to see so much more content, you're not just getting one narrative of like, hey, this is who Kamala Harris is, this is who Donald Trump is. I mean, the guy went to McDonald's, kept his tie on with his shirt.
That was a great troll.
Brilliant.
It was fantastic.
Brilliant. And Kamala just can't pull that stuff off.
No, but I love that. Like, so when Kamala goes to places, she'll put on her her tennis shoes and she'll pretend to be one of those people. Trump is Trump everywhere he goes, and I think that's a brilliant move.
Kamala changes her accent.
He's in all the rap songs.
Right. Trump won't even change his shirt.
Did you see the Maria Shriver interview? They said we were not taking any questions from the crowd. It's all pre-scripted. That's not a town hall.
Right. Well, the one that Kamala and Trump, they both did the same thing with Univision, and it was great that Trump went in and kind of had a good discussion. I haven't watched the Kamala one. I can't.
I'm pretty sure, is that the one where we all got to see her teleprompter?
Yeah.
No, I don't think it was her teleprompter. I think it was the anchor's teleprompter.
Yeah.
So that's
Oh, cool.
another
Yeah.
correction, because there's a lot of fake news being spread around by a lot of people, and it's kind of infuriating because the left. I saw this on CNN, and CNN was toting about this. Random account said this, and I'm like, oh, okay, fine.
She actually had the
Jesus,
timer on there as well. When it wasn't the teleprompter for the host, it was her timer, so she knew how much time she had to answer the question.
What it is in the video is that it just turns off halfway. So the accusation is, they found out we're showing the teleprompter, so midway through we're going to turn it off.
I don't think that was the case. I think
Yeah.
that was the anchor literally reading, what they usually read to the general public, because the anchors read through the teleprompters.
Right. He needed to know the
Exactly,
name of the
exactly.
people that he was calling up to. He needed that information.
Yeah,
He
they were
obviously
trying to
didn't
say
memorize
that they turned it off because they were hiding it, but that's not true.
No.
Are
it's
the
more
Dems
probable that it
having
wasn't true.
regrets for kicking Biden to the curb?
Yeah, probably. They're polling worse than they did when Biden was around. So
I think
those
they
are
should
bad
really-
numbers.
That
They-
should tell you something.
Yeah.
They should have regret not for pulling Biden, but for not having a primary, not letting RFK take that ticket.
Oh, it was.
That was
they
like
railroaded him. That's why he joined Trump. But I
Absolutely.
love that. Make America healthy again. Tulsi Gabbard, Elon Musk,
But
Vivek.
this is so
We've never
great.
had this before.
No, they were expecting another Bernie to just go, take his money and go and lick his wounds in the corner. And instead, this man is becoming the best ally that Trump has anywhere. And I think that is just so great.
And as soon as he came out to endorse, all of a sudden they come out with all these stories to smear him as usual. You
Oh, yeah,
expect
the
that.
bear and the dog.
McDonald's has E. coli now. Trump was there, right?
Oh yeah, the E. coli psyop that we're going through right now. We actually have a video of Biden and Obama talking about what actually went on behind the
I
scenes.
love this.
We'll be playing this video in about 30 minutes on the next platform that
that the
actually
one with
allows
the-
free speech. But it was the New York Post actually got a professional lip reader, and they did their own transcript. So we'll be going over that in about 30 minutes from now on the other platform. Now, just to finish off this latest kind of conversation about Joe Rogan, because this is going to be a big interview. I'm going to be paying close attention to it. I would hope that they, shoot it Friday and release it Monday. So then all the corporate media will be freaking out about it Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. And that's exactly what they would do. They're going to be losing their mind here. It's clear Joe Rogan has a horse in this race. Joe Rogan previously described his kind of understanding of the situation in this race by recently saying this on his podcast.
He was in all the rap songs. Rappers would always talk about Trump. Everybody loved Trump. It was like this wheeling, dealing billionaire character that everybody enjoyed.
Yeah. I felt like he did a decent job.
As president, when you look at his regulations, it certainly helped the economy. I mean, that guy who was the
I feel
head
like
of,
we were in a lot better spot then than now, for sure.
without a doubt. Well, there's a lot happened in the world. Right. The world scares the shit out of me right now. Right now, I'm like, boy, this is not good. None of this Ukraine thing, not good. Yeah, everything not good. Everything scares the shit out of me. I'm looking at all of it going, like, there's no good solutions to the Middle East. All of it looks terrible, and the Ukraine thing looks terrible. It just scares the shit out of me, because it's just like all it takes is one person to launch a nuke, and the world changes forever.
Right.
And I've never felt like that was a possibility in my lifetime until now.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean,
and that's a real concern that I think a lot of Americans have. As of course, the shirt that I'm wearing right now reads "Don't nuke me, bro." Of course, that's a situation that we're kind of involved in. It's a real situation. I think Joe Rogan realizes it, and this is why he is going to be interviewing Donald Trump. After this, he's going to feel the pressure to be, not biased. I think, other kind of larger entities will kind of come in here and be like, now you got to interview Kamala. Mm-hmm. I'm going to think that Kamala interview is going to be a lot more interesting than the Trump interview. But let's just hope that it goes on for 2 to 3 hours. Let's hope that they bring up DMT, chimpanzees, and all the other regular topics of discussion that Joe Rogan brings up in order to, of course, get some unique perspectives on the world that we wouldn't naturally get. If I'm Donald Trump here, I'm specifically coming out with like major news. I'm coming out with things that are going to get a lot of headlines from this, that is going to kind of carry this story, because for a lot of people, Joe Rogan is their average Joe. He speaks to them. He normalizes a lot of things in our society that the corporate media tries to keep away from the general public and constrained. And as we saw during 2021, Joe Rogan absolutely opened up the Pandora box with individuals questioning their own kind of personal health choices, and really did push the Overton window in a very positive light. He did a lot of incredibly important work. Say what you might about him, and has deleted his episodes with some of the most controversial people, he has still, I think, awakened a lot more people to deeper issues than almost any other online commentator next to Tucker Carlson in this kind of media sphere. So this is a big deal. And this is going to be a culture clashing kind of major battle that's going to be, I think, the deciding factor for the future of this country.
Yeah, I think he would be the smartest guy to come out and just look in the camera, talk to Joe, and say, "I brought the unity party. I have a unity party. I've got Elon Musk. I've got Tulsi Gabbard. I've got ex-Democrat RFK. I've got Vivek. No tax on tips, no new wars," and just appeal to the people. And just because I don't see him talking a lot like that about Make America Healthy Again and bringing up some of the cool things he's actually doing.
Well, I think a rally versus a sit down with Joe Rogan, I actually think that Trump's specialty is a sit down, because he can have a real conversation. Now, unfortunately, a lot of these cable shows, you're getting 15 minutes or you're getting an hour maximum. So I think having those conversational types of talks help him tremendously. And it's funny you list all these people, whether it's RFK, whether it's Tulsi, whether it's Elon. I kind of look at this as the independent thinkers versus the narrative, right? And that's why they had to have Kamala. They needed somebody that the military-industrial complex and all of these goons in D.C. that make money off the gravy train, they have to keep it going. And it's wild to me that they decided it was a better bet to toss Joe and replace her. Now, I might have made the same decision if I was them, because anybody would have been better. But she just doesn't have any type of skill. She doesn't have anything that she brings to the table. I mean, I love some of these videos I see where they ask people, why are you supporting Kamala, but don't use the word Trump. And they can't even get to a point. They can't think without just, there's nothing to point to.
There's no
Yeah.
policy.
There's nothing there. It's wild.
But Trump's last administration, I didn't like the people he had around. This is totally different. The Pompeos, the Boltons. I didn't like neocons.
Yeah, well,
and
let
warlocks.
me be the first to say that. I mean, the thing that got me most excited about Trump 2.0, for 2024, the guy's got a chip on his shoulder, right? If you're somebody like me that wants to destroy some of these corrupt things in D.C., you now have a guy when he goes in, okay, he's been spied on. I already said he's been shot in the face, right? He's been backstabbed by so many of these kind of defense contractor types. I think we have to be in all these countries all the time. If there's ever somebody I wanted, let's say it's not even Donald Trump, but somebody with that profile where they're ready to take Ramaswamy's plan and gut 50% of the federal bureaucracy.
Afuera, let's go.
Send these people home. That's why I'm so excited. People ask me, like, oh, how does this libertarian, they were spending under Trump. Like, you're missing the whole point. This guy is the anti-establishment figure of our generation. And he's ready to go in, surround himself with the right people, start no new wars once again, hopefully bring some troops home. You got to get amped up about that. This is the battle to not sit out, get involved.
It's unbelievable. You go on Twitter, people are promoting Kamala, and you're like, dude, you're pro-war. I don't think they know that they're pro-war.
I don't think they know
They're
either.
They're
brainwashed.
excited because
Yeah.
they have Cheney's now on their team.
Dick Cheney.
They're excited. They're like, oh my God, let's go. Dick Cheney's on your team.
Tim Waltz was talking about it. He was bragging about it on a late night TV show.
He was.
We had
and
that
having
clip too.
the Chinese.
Yeah.
I thought that was like fantastic because he went to China 20 times. I mean, on a teacher's salary. Who paid for those trips? But anyways, it's like, and the Chinese. Oh my God, I can't wait to play that video.
Well, the predicted market is responding pretty positively, as of course odds just shot up to 97% after the news was announced that Trump is going to be on Joe Rogan. We also got a live alleged report of Kamala Harris finding out that Trump will be going on Joe Rogan's podcast. Here's the live reaction.
Donald J. Trump is now president of the United States. President
What a great honor to be able to introduce for the first time ever anywhere the 45th President of the United States of America,
I'd love to
Donald.
know who she's voting for this round.
Debatable.
No, that's Tim Waltz. I don't know if you, I don't know why you guys.
I don't know. I
Don't
don't
see
presume.
the resemblance there.
I don't presume to know how they identify. I apologize. Not meaning
How
to
shame on you.
Listen,
know.
how dare you criticize it? All right, that's so wrong of you. Andrew Yang came out in response to all of this, saying, "So now that Trump is going on Rogan, I think Kamala Harris should publicly say she'll go on too. It's
Yes,
the biggest
let's
audience
go.
one could get."